into it. We can try to make the call. If you could, give us a State of the Union, and we'll open up for some questions afterwards. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. It's always good to gather. As I've said this more than once, it's good to gather with people who know what they're doing. I don't always have that opportunity to spend time with people that know what they are doing. Some of my friends actually come to court, and I see they're out there when the crazy radical socialists start down their path. Always good to see a friendly face out there. It is an absolute pleasure to represent you in elected office. Yeah, I consider it a service. I consider it a calling, if you will. My father was a pastor for 60 years. This isn't anything less than that. And people say, gosh, you're the only one up there. It's kind of bad. You're the Lone Ranger. Well, y'all don't need to feel bad for me. You need to feel bad for the poor people that have to put up with me. Because I can tell you, they know they're wrong. They know that more than half the county would agree with us on most issues. But they have finagled and maneuvered and and now they're able to control. But I'm optimistic by what's coming. This will be my final floor speech since that starts tonight. And I'm going to cover 4 topics. There's things I've been talking about for 4 years, and that's safe neighborhoods, infrastructure, manage your taxes. I'm going to add a 4th one tonight because Tom told me to, and that's elections. So I think I'll start with elections. And you look at the primary, is there any reason to be encouraged or optimistic about the primaries? I think so. I saw a good turnout. Some of the numbers, and I'll get those, there were 379,000 votes cast. 203 of those were Republicans, 176 Democrats, but 203 was Republicans that voted. 46%, now understand this, 46% of all Harris County votes came out of Precinct 3. Wow. When the radicals drew this map up, they meant it for bad. But I'm telling you, we're going to make this for good. Because what they did was they put 75% of the unincorporated area in Precinct 3. They did it strictly based on partisan basis, but that's the only part of Harris County that's growing. The city of Houston is losing population. I wonder why. It's not a secret. You got better schools out here, it's safer, and I'll come back and talk a bit more about that. So on the elections, I was fairly encouraged. 34% of all votes cast in Harris County were Precinct 3 voters. There were and looking forward to the general election out, and again, this is a new precinct, so this precinct did not exist back when we had the last presidential election. So out of 761 registered voters in Precinct 3, only 345,000 voted. So roughly not 50% or so. But if you look at the numbers, we have the most registered voters in Harris County in Precinct 3, the most registered voters. This is a conservative leaning precinct. I got 68,000 votes. Didn't have an opponent, but I got 68,000 votes. I do have a Democrat opponent, and so he ran in my precinct. He got 26,000 votes. So there were 26,000 Democrats that showed up in Precinct 3 voting. Again, I want y'all to get kind of a sense of what Precinct 3 is. Last year, I argued that I had the most voters and I had the least number of polling locations. Well, since we had a woke county elections administrator, I did not have the most. But since, thank you, Uncle Paul Betancourt, we got rid of the elections administrator, and now Tanisha Hutchman, she is a Democrat, but at least she's an elected Democrat, and at least she's accountable and she takes it seriously. And by the way, she worked for Stan Standard for a long time. And Tanisha, I'll just have to say, I said I need the most, and by George, in spite of Rodney Ellis, I got the most of her. So there are some things happening. I feel better about this election cycle than I did the other, at least from that standpoint. We still got to be vigilant. A lot of times my community centers, precinct 3 community centers, will be used as voting locations. Well, you know, sometimes I put pictures, there might be a picture of me telling you what this is what you need to do to call in on a health issue or a road issue or whatever. Well, there was one precinct, John, she removed all my pictures. And I don't take offense from that. I'm used to it. I'm an Aggie from Crockett, and so it's pretty typical. So I called Christian Menifee and I said, now let me understand this. If the woke Democrat precinct judges are going to start removing my pictures, can I start removing Rodney Ellis's pictures? Yeah. And he said, well, let me think about it. And I did. So be encouraged about this election. We got to get people to vote. We did not vote in 2022. If we had voted, we would now have a different county judge, and we would have a lot different looking situation. But, you know, that's why we have an election in 2024. We're going to get out and vote. By the way, for 8 years I served as mayor of Spring Valley. That's one of 14 cities that sends money to Metro. Not because we think it's a good idea, but because we're in that group. There's 33 cities not named Houston in Harris County. 14 of them have to or are obligated to send money to Metro. So the 14 cities, many years ago, back 15 years ago, we bonded together. We cut us a deal, and we're getting part of our money back. We're not getting enough of it back. I know I'm in the weeds, but I want y'all to understand that the city of Sugar Land is not Metro. Pearland is not Metro. Baytown is not Metro. Pasadena isn't in Metro. Jersey Village isn't in Metro. Tomball isn't in Metro, and I'm not saying they should be. But it sure isn't fair that 14 of us are, and we're sending money. We have to send a penny of our tax into Metro, and they don't. That's not fair. And you know, at the end of the day, I wish the state legislature would do something about it, but they're kind of limited in what they can do in any case. Anyway, it's important that we have someone, we get 2 board appointments. And one of those was term limited out. So it was time to put a new board member on Metro. Well, being from Spring Valley, and I was president of the Harris County Mayor Council Association, so I'm not related to every mayor in Harris County, but I'm pretty good friends with them. And so we had some conversations over the last week. They had lunch yesterday, and I thought it'd be a real good idea, and I could go. But again, they are friends, and yesterday they met in a vote of 12-1, selected Alex Mealer to be on the board at Metro.
Wow.
Why is that important? You know, when a conservative runs for office with integrity, as she did, and they've done nothing but demonize her for running a good race, and it's pretty vicious. What I see on social media and how they have picked on that family, and kind of makes me mad. So Alex Mealer will be out there showing people what a leader looks like. And I'm looking forward to what else Alex may be doing in the future. I just want to give you that report because I think it's important that we keep us a strong bench, a good, strong conservative bench, so that when it's time to have that next person for that next office, we've got us a bench. So that's that part of it. And in the context of the elections, this is pretty exciting. You can say, well, it's just you and Rodney up for election. Rodney's in a 65% Democrat precinct. I'm in a 65% Republican. But who else is on the ballot? Let me see. Who else might be on that ballot in November? Well, I see the judge back there. We're gonna get that one. But how about Steve Raddick running for tax assessor? What about Mike Knox over on the sheriff's side? What about Dan Simmons in the DA's office? So I didn't really know Dan. Me and a couple of other conservatives were working out one morning, and I said, well, I don't know Dan. I wish I knew more about him because Shantir is another word for Satan. That is a bad dude. I want you to know that is one bad person. If you thought it was bad in San Francisco, if you thought it was bad in LA and Cook County, you've not seen anything yet. If Shantir gets elected, it's over. It is a problem, and we'll have to have Attorney General Paxton down here more than he already is. So, Dan Simmons is a good man. Now, y'all may not know it, but he's from Comasville. And y'all probably don't even know where that is. That's somewhere north of Woodville, not far from Zavala, just out from Chester. He's a good East Texas guy. He's got a compelling life story. He's a prosecutor. I spent an hour on the phone with him, and we're going to when you get our Republican ticket, I talked to Cindy Siegel today, we're going to get our messaging right. We're going to get our voter outreach right. We're going to get a lot more people at the polls than we did than we did 4 years ago. So just know that there is that target. We know what to do. I think we just need to do it. Now, my quick state of the county, again on the safe neighborhoods. Here's a statistic most people don't like to talk about. There's more people live in the unincorporated area than live in the city, right? Y'all all knew that. So the crime in Houston is a problem, right? We have tremendous support in the unincorporated area with our constables. If you look at what the constables cover in the unincorporated area, 95% of the neighborhoods in the unincorporated area are covered by contract deputy contracts. It's a big deal. Let me see, what is the crime rate in Houston? Last year there were 300 murders. You know what it was in the unincorporated area? 100. You go down to every key crime statistic in the unincorporated area, it's 1/3 of what it is in the city of Houston. So when I met with Mayor Whitmire a couple of weeks ago, I said, this isn't complicated. Let me see, you don't have any neighborhood patrols in Houston, and you have 300 murders. You have complete coverage in the unincorporated area, and you got 100. And you got more people that live in the unincorporated area. This is not hard. So guess what is the #1 attack on Commissioner's Court today? Constables. They are coming after them. And this next Tuesday, there's 810 agenda items. That's a whole nother item. 810. One of those is to increase the contract deputy increase 6% or 7%. So they're calling for a 7% increase. This is what I would tell you
In the fee or the
about.
number of them?
I'm sorry?
In the fee paid or the number of them?
They're gonna call for the contract deputy contracts to go up 7%. So that's a way they're trying to, I think, price them out of the business. Now, they will tell you, the radical communist newspaper, the Chronicle, is doing a hit piece now on constables. Have y'all read that?
No.
Okay, well, you're
We don't
fortunate.
have a bird.
Okay, you don't have a, here's another. Okay, here's another trivia question. How many subscribers does the Houston Chronicle have? And again, they cover a wide range. I'm from Crockett, Texas. That's 2 hours north of here. That's their paper up there too. How many subscribers take the Chronicle?
17.
17. You wish. I
We don't
mean,
have a bird.
huh?
Nobody here has a bird.
Just give me a number. I just-
15%.
Well, you have, what, 5 million people live in Harris County? So,
50,000.
what?
50,000.
Okay, it's 140,000. That's all. That's sad. I mean, that's good news on one hand. They don't have that much coverage, but they are out there and they are quoted. So, but they're doing a hit piece. You know, they did a hit piece on Kim Off. 26 articles in 2 months and
Yeah.
knocked her out of office. Now they're doing the constables. That's okay. Here we go, because I know how y'all feel about the constables. But if we're gonna have safe neighborhoods, you gotta have the contract deputy program. And it's square, under attack, by the group. We're talking to Herman, and certainly from the legislature, they'll be kicking that around town. That would be one of the other things that we're looking at. Infrastructure, I've got 30 projects under construction in precinct 3, 30. The next precinct closest to me has 5. I have 30 projects on it. I'm gonna spend every nickel I can get my hand on, because that's what I'm supposed to do. We're not supposed to have a bunch of money sitting in the bank. We're not supposed to have a bunch of money sitting in bonds. We're not supposed to have a bunch of money sitting in CDs not being used. Our roads need to be fixed, and we need to fix them. So we're gonna do that. I've got $780 million worth of construction targeted in the next 4 years. 254,000 of that is other people's money. And thank you, Sam Harless, thank you, Tom Oliverson, thank you, some of our state reps. They make sure that we get a little bit more, and that's another legislative issue. Funding for precinct 3, they can write that into the budget, and I need to be, because I'm being underfunded at the county. They have a 2022 bond issue and $1.1 billion bond issue. And Lena happened to be at that meeting. She doesn't come very often, which is not bad. I think that's good that she doesn't come. But one of the times she did come, she said at the meeting, I support the bond issue, but each precinct has to get 220 million each. And that's the only way I support it. And they did, they made that commitment. 220 of the 1.2 billion goes to each precinct. You know how much I got? 186 million. I can count. That's 32 million less than what I should have got. I'm gonna get my 32 million. If I have to. And they know I bring it up nearly every time in every court. But the state legislature, Sam got me probably 12 and 15 million in the last session. I hope we can get some more. Dawn Buckingham has done a tremendous job as our land commissioner. She made sure we had 750 million. And I think I've told you this before. Most of that money is dealing with flooding. And that's a $750 million worth of dollars going into flood control related projects. She went and met with everybody on Commissioner's Court, and she uses real small words. She said, if you don't give Ramsey 25%, I'm gonna come get the rest of it. And so, well, okay, well, that's a good idea. We'll let Tom have, so I got 25%. So my point is, some days, it's bad because we do have, the socialists running a lot in Harris County. But we have to remind them every now and then they're living in a red state, and that's not going to change. So the state legislature can come in at any time and change anything, because you know the county's a subset of the state. It's not primary. So anything going on in the county, if the state legislature's of a mind, they can change it. And certainly they did that with the elections administrator. We've invested over we've got $100 million worth of construction on flood control projects in the Cypress Creek watershed. Got another 87 million planned. And when I became commissioner, there wasn't really anything being done in Cypress. There was a lot of talk. I mean, that's the biggest problem I've got with what I've seen in a lot of areas, whether it's on the east side or in the Cypress watershed. There's a whole lot of planning going on, but not much building. But as I said, we're getting close to getting that a lot of that construction underway. Y'all familiar with Ravenel?
Yep.
So Ravenel, we own 27 acres. The county does. That was purchased when Harvey flooded. So the Harris County Flood Control District purchased 27 acres, which is where the clubhouse used to be and that sort of thing. So it's the high ground. So I've met with the people around there. There's a PUD that owns 200 acres. So I'm meeting with, and they've been good meetings, but I, again, use small words and keep it simple. I just need attention. That's all I want. I'm not a greedy person. I just have 27 acres and I want detention. So our last meeting a couple of weeks ago, I think we've got 350 acre feet of detention identified, and I'll say I'll be more than happy to let you have the 27 acres, but I'm gonna get my 350 acre feet of detention, and I want it now. I don't want it 15 years from now. I want it now. So they're working on that, and of course everything is complicated and whatever, but I said it's real easy. If you want the 27 acres, give me 350 acre feet of detention, and they're doing that. They're figuring that out. And if you want to build a golf course, that's up to you. You own the 200 acres. I don't own the 200 acres. I own 27 acres. And I'll let you have that 27 because you gotta have the 27 because that's the only high spot on the whole deal. But I want my 350 acre feet of detention done before you play one round of golf or before anything else. So the digging that would be done, that's roughly $9 million worth of detention that they would be creating there. So that's happening, and many times I think we make this stuff much too complicated. I met with Spring Branch Independent School District today. There's been flooding in the Frostwood area for decades. In fact, sadly, they refer to it the Frostwood Detention Basin. And it's sad, really, but it's just a bowl. And it's south of. There is a detention basin you can build on the Mack Hike Fields, which is south of Mack Hike's dealership, north of what I used to call Memorial Junior High. That would be a vault, a detention vault. That would mitigate flooding of Headwood Village. That would mitigate flooding of Tallowood, around Tallowood Church there, mitigate flooding in Frostwood. The TERS is bringing 24 million. The city of Houston's bringing 29 million. We've got 20 million from the 2018 bond. That's all coming together. The school district said we can adjust this and adjust that. We're working with the Spring Branch Sports Association, which has the fields. You see how complicated sometimes this gets? Well, we can make this as simple or as complicated as any of us want to make. We have one shot at getting $70 million worth of detention in an area that's been flooded for 4 decades. And we're that close. So, put that on the list of if we can get that one, that'll be a huge deal. So infrastructure is a extreme focus. Colonel Jennifer Almonte, who handles my road and bridge. Y'all have met Jennifer, haven't you? Y'all know Jennifer? If she walked through that door back there, you'd say, well, that's a young soccer mom. That's who she is. And she is a young soccer mom. But she's also the best road and bridge superintendent I've ever seen in my 45 years of engineering. She's a colonel in the U.S. Air Force Reserve. And for the next 2 weeks, she's been invited to the Pentagon to give lectures on how the Air Force can maintain its bases. That's the young lady that's taking care of your roads. And she doesn't play. She's up early and they're late. She knows every inch of the 6,800 miles of road that she has to maintain. For every 6,800 miles of road, you got another 3,000 miles of ditch that you got to maintain. So between the roads and the ditches, I think this morning we got 1,252 service requests. Everybody has been called and they've been told when their issue is going to be taken care of. And I tell people that and I say, man, that's amazing. It really shouldn't be amazing. That's what we get paid for. You have a problem, you call us, we're supposed to fix it. To me, that's what county government should be doing. We shouldn't be doing daycare. That's not what we're there. There's 1,000 nonprofits and churches out there that can do daycare. There's only one that can do $1 billion anything, and that's a county. So hopefully, the good news is Commissioner Briones and Commissioner Garcia agree with me on that. And why is that important? Because Rodney and Lena would consolidate everything tomorrow if they could. What's consolidation? We'll put all the parks under one person. We'll put all the roads under one person. We'll put all the community centers under one person. We'll put all the fleet under one person. And you talking about a big mess. Well, that would be exactly what the city of Houston is doing, right? When I met with Mayor Whitmire, I told him, I said, I am way too old to be tactical. You don't have anybody in the city of Houston that knows how to fix anything related to a road. We know how to fix it. I can show you how to do that if you want to do it. He seemed kind of excited, and so we'll see if they do. But they don't maintain their roads. That's just not it. So I say all that to tell you this. I will probably be building fewer 2-lane to 4-lane, as we say in Crockett, boulevards. We're not going to have, I'm going to be spending more money maintaining what I've got because I think that's what I'm supposed to do. People will be killed if we don't start doing that. I'm working closely with Texas A&M, not because I went there, but we've got Texas Transportation Institute there. Just by putting a sign up, alerting people of a curve will save lives. 30% of the wrecks would be eliminated if we just had signs preceding a curve. That's why I have a hard time sleeping at night. I have 6,800 miles of road, and I don't think we've got all our curves alerted. So just kind of a heads up, we're working on it. The roads I inherited on the east side is worse than worse. I was down at Barrett Station. Y'all know Barrett Station? It's one of the most historic black communities in Harris County. It's there south of Crosby. In that era after the Civil War, that was a city of refuge. It's quite the story, quite the community, and reminds me a lot of my hometown, Crockett, where everybody wore boots and talked funny and ride horses. That's Barrett. They had dirt roads at Barrett. That's not right. That's just not right. There is, and you know what, it's just interesting to me, it's sad that for a party to say they're for taking care of underserved neighborhoods, they don't care about underserved neighborhoods. I've got evidence of it. Since I've been there, the Barrett said, and I'm not telling you this so I can brag, I'm telling you this, the difference between conservative and liberal is liberal is all talk and conservative is actually doing something. The people in Barrett Station would tell you they've had more done in the last year than they've had in the last 20 years in that neighborhood. Now that's just a sad commentary on a lot of things. As I remind people when they say, well, you know, we just don't have enough money and we can't take care of stuff in the city of Houston. Well, they got plenty of money. The problem is they've got a spending problem. Well, who's been running the city of Houston for the last 50 years? It hadn't been a conservative. It's been just a long list of folks that really, I don't think they know what they're doing. So you finally get to managing your tax dollars. That's my third thing that I focus on. And when they are finalizing the list of the 1,900 people that will get $500 a month for 18 months, it's just sickening. We might as well take that $20 million and go out in the front yard and burn it. That's all it is. They're giving people, there's no restrictions on it. It's ARPA money. And they say, well, it's just ARPA money. No, that's tax money. Just because it's federal money doesn't mean it's not tax money. We all contributed to it. But they're gonna finalize it. The only certain thing about that is no one in precinct 3 will get any of that, and that's fine by me. It's sad that that's how they do anything. Yes.
Wasn't that all earmarked for precinct 1 only?
No, there's more than one. I think it's 1 and 2. They might have a couple in 3.
So what are they gonna do when it goes away?
No, it's 18 months. It's 18 months. So they'll go pick 1,920, I think is what I saw. They'll give them $500 a month for 18 months, and it's over. It solves nothing. I had many a person pull up in my father's backyard as when I watched, and my dad would go out there and there'd be a car, there'd be people in need. There'd typically be a papa driving and a mom and 3 little kids in the back seat. And they'd say, we're down on our luck, we need money. And my father would say, I'll take you down to Brookshire Brothers and get those children something to eat. I'll take you to Homer Leader's Texaco station and get you some gas. And I'll put you up at the King's Inn tonight. But I'm not giving you any money. It's just beyond anybody's understanding why they would do that, other than, I call it buying votes. It's about the only thing you can account. And I know it's shocking. I'm just beyond it. So wasteful spending is a irritant. I will tell you why my buddy Cactus was on court. We were able to not come to court when they wouldn't listen to us on the budget. We tried to work with them. But when you post the same tax rate 6 meetings in a row, and you call that a negotiation, you know, you ought to be reducing it a little bit every time, maybe just attempt one of us to come to court, but they never did change that, and I had plenty of nice meals at the Dairy Queen in Navasota, and stayed out of town for a while. That, us not coming to court, saved the taxpayers nearly $1 billion forever.
All right.
When I tell you that to say that's a lot of money. That's like 4 pennies. We're a big county. This is the center of economic activity for Texas and a lot of industries for this part of the world. So that's a bit of where we are as we go into the year, and we'll continue to see what we can make happen, but I think we're making a little progress. If we can get us some more conservatives elected in November and get ready for maybe even 2 years after that, we'll make some real progress. Questions? Yes.
I live in Klein, and for some reason, somebody's gotten the right idea. I live in Klein, and for some reason, someone somewhere has decided that would be a dynamite place to put up a bunch of low-rent apartments, have them all be federally or state finance, take them off the tax rolls, flip them, and run. What can we do about that other than all showing up and scaring them off like we did at the last?
Well, I oppose it. Valerie opposes it.
I know.
Sam opposes it. We oppose it. Still doesn't mean it can't get done. I think we need another legislative issue, Tom, is they shouldn't be able to build something without the support, and you can stay as high as you want to, whether it's a senator or it's the county commissioner or it's a state rep. Now they can come in there and get something built even without our support. Used to, you had to get support from the commissioner.
Well, yeah, and what's happened is that those of us who are in the ETJ are getting torqued because Houston Housing Authority, which is kind of an awful thing right there,
Right.
is partnering up with the certain people on Commissioner's Court.
Well, Rodney's wife works there. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, well, actually, she makes commissions off of it, doesn't she?
All of that.
Yeah, she and Lance Gilliam are partners.
Right.
Anyway, is there, right now, the best way we found to stop them is to go around and talk to the PUDs, because this last one, they had promised they were going to build something like 45 duplexes. Then they went back to Dallas, and oh my, it wasn't no pencil out, so they decided, well, maybe 600 apartments would do better. And fortunately, a bunch of people who know their mud came, and I think there have been words.
I think that I wrote the PUD, I wrote a letter on that. And if they can't get water, that's the classic, cut their water off before they even get started.
Yeah, but I mean, if there would be some way to require them to at least give more notice, because this particular meeting had first been noticed up for 2 months ago, and it went from one place to another place to another place to another place. And
Yeah, it's a mess.
yeah, but basically what these developers are trying to do is pay lip service to having their public meeting, but they didn't want to.
But when it's Houston Housing Authority, and there's other, we use everything we know to do to try to fight it. We agree. Yes?
I have a question concerning the calibration of lights. When was the last time in Harris County they calibrated the lights?
You're talking about sync up the lights?
Yes.
Okay. That's a great question. I know, I used to do that back in my previous life. And you could start, at the Galleria on Westheimer and go all the way out to Highway 6 and never bump on your brakes. You can get the lights sequenced like this. It's not a big deal.
Now, like the left hand turn lanes, you know,
Where?
we have 20 people, I live at Barker Cypress, West Little York, but I'm
Okay.
talking about Highway 6 and like West Road, this type of thing. You can get 20 people in a turn lane, and maybe 2 or 3 will get through.
What's really helpful, if you can call that in a service request, it will get taken care of.
3 on these?
Huh?
Two
Oh, she's in, this is for.
I got her, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, call precinct 3. And I say that for a reason. Because they run off a lot of people that do a lot, John Blunt, Russ Poppy, and others. A lot of people decided they would like to work someplace else. Most of them have come over in precinct 3. I've got a whole group of people, they spend a lot of their day doing that kind of stuff, permitting, dealing with other, because the county engineer struggles with keeping up with that. Be happy to take care of it.
Other questions for Tom? I got one time. Representative Alderson was here a couple of months ago, and he talked about one of the bills he was proud of that passed in Austin, which to me it seemed like it gives local folks like you that are in a minority, if they are doing low progressive UBI kinds of activities, that it would allow the state to override. Are you familiar with that bill, and do your fingerprints on that? I'm guessing, but I don't know.
Well, as I said, the state is like the cavalry. And every time they do something really bad to me, I remind them that, you know, y'all can continue to pick on me if you want to. Every time y'all pick on me, somebody's writing a bill. In Austin. If y'all quit picking on me, they quit writing bills in Austin. But yeah, those kinds of things they haven't been intrusive. And by the way, I heard today that Representative Alderson is making a hard run for speaker. You put Tom Alderson in Speaker of the House, now we're gonna get something done.
Hello.
That is a good man.
Other questions? Going toward, one more, there we go.
Oh, I have several.
We'll give you a start with one, maybe.
I heard a long time ago, several years ago, actually, that the funds that went from people paying tolls on 99, that fund was depleted by Lena Hidalgo. What can you tell me about that whole situation?
Well, bless her heart. She doesn't know what she doesn't know. Now, they saw some reserves, and they saw some money coming out of the toll road, and they started talking about all these social programs that could be done. But you know, some dirt-kicking civil engineer from A&M reminded them that I was in Harris County and voted for the first bonds that built Hardy Toll Road, which was the first toll road in Harris County. You know, every penny of toll that comes off of that can only be spent on transportation-related, toll road-related projects. So you know what? They can't touch it.
Amen.
And just so you'll know, that funds a lot of our maintenance activity. We need more money than that. But most counties don't have that much money. I get probably 50, 60 million a year to help me just in my precinct take care of it. And that's coming out of the toll road. Why is, you know, I know tolls are a tax. I mean, you by definition. But you know what I like? I like it when my neighbors in Montgomery County come down here and contribute to my road maintenance. I invite the judge and everybody, y'all just come on down here and ride on our toll road and help me maintain what we got. I would like Judge Kehoe to have better criteria so that I'm not flooded south of him It's not right that Harris County has one standard for flood control, and Montgomery County, Liberty County, don't get me started on Crown Colony, we'll be here the rest of the night. Liberty County, Fort Lee County, Waller County, they're all sending water a lot. 80% of all the water that comes in Harris County is coming through Precinct 3. And they should at least have the decency to want to mitigate as much as that. So every time I hear my Montgomery County conservative friends saying, well, move on up here to Montgomery County, because it's like, it's not Harris County. Well, you know, if you pay attention to what you need to in terms of those technical requirements, we're gonna work on our crime, try to get that better.
Next question. I've been in contact with TxDOT regarding the extension of greenhouse that's gonna go under the railroad tracks. How many people are gonna drown there? And they said that there was a way to get on their website, but I haven't been able to find out when they're gonna start that project. But they're building 340 apartment units at the corner of where they're gonna have to cut through and go under 290. So I'm real curious to know.
It's
how
going
that's-
under, it's, the design is about complete.
Okay.
That construction, if there's, one of the biggest problems we have in this part of the world is getting from this side of 290 to that side of 290. We absolutely have to have that undercrossing. That absolutely we have to have it.
But why couldn't we get a overcrossing like they have at Mason Road and at Telge and all these other places?
Well, it's connecting up Greenhouse, and I, for one, understand how pumps work, and I'm not concerned the least bit about the undercrossing. And you can say, you know, people have told me, well, I don't like to pump stormwater. Okay, well, you'll pump potable water, you'll pump wastewater, but you're not gonna pump stormwater. If we would just put pumps in about 10,000 detention basins, we could increase mitigation by 30%. Anyway, I've seen the design. It's a good design. I feel comfortable with it.
But the construction date, you don't have.
I think it's gonna start, I don't have the exact date. You can, I think construction will begin next year.
Okay.
It's that close.
Okay.
And in highway terms, that's pretty close.
We just need to find another route until before then.
That's right.
Can you talk about that a little more? It's, my understanding is it's gonna go under the railroad track, under 290, and come up somewhere on Skinner, is that?
Yeah, it connects those two. Connects those two.
Is it coming up in the median?
No, it's actually the road will continue from one side to the other. I can send out a schematic to someone,
Okay,
and
yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
I've got one, while we're getting to Georgetown. Could you put a reminder, so we got a lot of the SD7 platform committee folks in this room tonight. Over 500, close to 500 resolutions came in on election integrity. Could you remind the Texas Secretary of State that the election problem in Harris County is kind of important? And that preliminary audit that they did, right, when's the final gonna come out?
Yeah.
Right, we ought to have that well before this November, so we can do the right corrective actions and implement. So I'm just curious, you know, the dialogue you're having maybe with Secretary of State, understanding where is the final report?
Hadn't really got a lot out of the Secretary of State. I thought he was, anyway, I'm disappointed. You know, when you turn stuff over to the Secretary of State, you think that, well, they're on top of it.
No, they're not.
They're not.
Where do we go to encourage them?
Governor. No, better, I'm sorry, Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say Lieutenant Governor.
Yes, sir.
Tom, just real quick. Elaborate on the security part. If everybody would support their MUDs, that's a huge, better? All right. That is a huge asset. because the constables, like Thomas referring to, they're under attack, and if we don't support them on our side, that's where we're really leaving it over. Give you a case in point, I was on vacation for 8 days, got back, I'm a lead president. So speaking to my constables, we had a Section 8 house that had an elaborate party on Friday night in one of our communities. Kid said he's gonna shoot up the place. 3:30 in the morning, came back and shots rang out in the neighborhood. Simple, regular neighborhood right up here off of Cypress Hill. So in our backyard. Fortunately, because of the actions of our constables, we've got some great guys up here. We've got one arrested I know of, and they're looking for 2 more. And they're all high school kids, they work with the school resource officers, everything worked exactly the way you hope it would be. But that's what we have to retain. You can't lose that.
You get the biggest bang for your buck with those contract deputy programs. There's a lot, I've got 202 MUDs in the precinct. It's the primary governance in the county, in my precinct. And what's kind of cool, that's 202 elections. I know you don't have to go through it, but you got 202 elections. So it's people that are representing neighborhoods and are making a difference. I hadn't mentioned this, and I won't go down this road too far, but the biggest problem Houston has, the biggest problem Harris County has, is deferred maintenance. The biggest problem the MUDs have is deferred maintenance. Because when a lot of these plants were built when I was a young man, and they've reached their age, but you know what I'm saying.
Well,
So-
I'll give you an example. We had a pump in the ground. You'll laugh at this one. I've been president for 2.5 years, almost 3 years. We had a pump in the ground for 25 years. And it started having problems, surprising. And I asked our provider, I said, when's the last time it's been pulled? Never. But when they put the new one in the ground, they said, oh, we're gonna do preventive maintenance every 5 years. I said, why didn't you do that back then? So, yeah, we experienced that.
Let's give Tom a big, huge thank you for fighting for us. And again, you guys can get down to Commissioner Court. Those folks are texting, trying to get conservatives down there, just so he's got some friendly faces to look at. Try to get down there if you can.